Hey guys, it's Stephen here back with another video, and I'm actually away. I'm not at home. I'm at a friend's stag do. I'm my best man, and I'm here at the place we're staying a bit early, so I thought, you know what, I'll jump on the camera, do a little video and have a chat with you guys 10-15 minutes before they get here in a couple of hours. So, you know, here we am. I thought today I'd talk about a few things that were kind of going around the news and all that kind of stuff. I've got my notes down here. The three things I want to talk about today. One is the rumours that Cancelo could be wanted by Arsenal. Second one is that City would have to pay around 30-40 million to sign Kovacic, and the potential prize money if City do the remarkable and do a treble. Three very interesting stories, which are all kind of sort of linked in many ways. But I'm going to start immediately by saying, please hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Check out all the content after the Champions League game. How are you feeling post the Real Madrid first leg? I'm still feeling pretty confident. I think we're in a good place. I think we're in a really good place, and we should feel pretty relaxed about everything at the moment. You know, that first leg went particularly well. It's a good place. It's a good place for us to be in. Next week is going to be absolutely crucial. Fingers crossed we get the job done. But let's start with that first bit of news. Arsenal allegedly in for Cancelo. Now, this comes via 90 Minutes, a website who posted an article saying that Arsenal, Bayern and Barcelona are all interested in signing Joao Cancelo. I'm sure they actually are, for what it's worth. I don't think that's probably nonsense. Do I think he's going to go to Arsenal? Probably not. Do you think it's the kind of Arsenal thing that they want to do? Yes. They're just basically really trying to create Man City, aren't they? Like, you can do that if you want to, man. You won't ever have Guardiola. You got Arteta, who's not bad, but it'd be interesting to see what happens with Cancelo. He's the kind of great kind of mystery of the summer, in my personal opinion. Now, the sources do suggest, according to this article, once again over on 90 Minutes, that even though Nagelsmann he didn't get a place with the Nagelsmann at Bayern Munich, Thomas Tuchel actually quite likes him and would be keen on keeping him at at Bayern Munich. I think that's probably true. I think he's a very useful player, a very intelligent player, a very high quality player, if we're being honest, and I reckon they'd take him in a heartbeat. So I do think there's something to that. I think they do want him. I think that's a very obvious thing, a very truthful thing. But will it happen? I guess the only rumour is the fee. They've got a €70 million option to buy him. No one's going to pay that for Cancelo in this current market, I guarantee you. He's probably worth it at his very best, but he's such a complicated player, and he's burned so many bridges, and he's seen as a bad egg to Man City. Whatever you agree on that, not. The bridges have been burned, and when you've got burned bridges, you've essentially got damaged goods, and that means that clubs are going to take advantage of that. Now, also, the reports are that Barcelona have been monitoring him, but they can't fucking afford him. There's absolutely no chance. Cancelo, I mean, there is always a chance. There's always a chance that he could come back. You know, there's always a chance. But when you look around Europe, you think, who's going to take him? He's not going to go back to Italy. He's not. He's already had this, periods there. Barcelona can't afford him. Maybe with Dani Carvajal getting on a little bit, it could be Real Madrid going for him. PSG, they got Hakimi, man. They don't need him. Bayern Munich, maybe then you see why Arsenal and Chelsea or whatever, clubs like that, could be a viable option. But Chelsea don't need him either. They've got, Reece James and so on. So maybe Arsenal isn't unrealistic. They could do with an upgrade in terms of attacking upgrade on Ben White, or maybe Zinchenko's back on the bench again as he's an inverted left back. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I can't see him coming back, but he might end up being back here by proxy. It might be that he's just going to have to be here because no one else comes in for him, which is wild. But there's a scenario where Cancelo's back here next season, and that's mad given he was booed. I think he'll go out on loan before that happens. I think someone will pay a loan fee. Maybe something like Bayern will offer €50 million, a bit of a discount, and City will go, yeah, fuck it, go for it. I can see that scenario happening. It'd be interesting if Arsenal came in. I do wonder if City have learned their lesson, so to speak, and letting key players go to rivals like that. I got a feeling they'd be like, don't do it again, Pep. Don't let him go. Not like it was Pep's idea. It was actually probably cheeky and Ferran and everyone. They were saying, don't strengthen our rivals that directly, which makes it more difficult to go to Arsenal, in my personal opinion. But I think there is something in that, that he could actually consider his future there. But I think City will they're taking too strong. Stop feeding them. I don't know. It's a shame how it's ended, but I do think that he's sort of made the rod for his own back in general by moaning and being not much of a team player. He's a phenomenal player, and he's been great at Manchester City, but he's not always sailed the smoothest of ships at Man City, and he's always definitely been a little bit of a mardarse when he's not in the team, and you can't be that if you want to win everything at this club. So we'll see when it goes. What do you reckon? Let me know down in the comments. I can see him moving on in the summer. Kovacic is an interesting one. Now, Mateo Kovacic, I think he's a really smart player who would get massively better under Guardiola. I don't think he's been as good at Chelsea as he was at Real Madrid, but you've got a really intelligent, very experienced player, Dynamo Zagreb, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea. He's got 108 appearances for Chelsea, by the way. He's been there for a while now, Kovacic, which you forget. It feels like it was yesterday he joined, but he's been there for a long time. Croatian as well, so it means we win the Champions League. Kovacic, 30-40 million. He's 29 years old. He does turn 30 though. No, he turned 29 actually last week. I tell you a lie. He turned 29 last week. 30-40 million. 29 is not young, but you will get 3 or 4 years out of him, and he's a very kind of Gundogan-esque replacement. And I do think even at 29, bear in mind we signed Fernandinho at 28, by the way. There's a bit of a perspective for you. I do think even at 29 he'd improve an awful lot under Guardiola in the way that in the way that David Silva did, Fernandinho did. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't get an awful lot out of him. I think he's a smart player. He needs to offer a little bit more, but I don't think he's had a coach as good as Guardiola, really, if I'm being honest. Like, he's had a lot of great coaches, but for midfielders, Guardiola is the creme de la creme, isn't he? He really is the big boss man when it comes to improving there. So I think there's something in this. The name is linked too much. The fee is very feasible. The player would probably want to come. It just seems to sort of make sense, doesn't it, in many ways? I can see this happening. I can see it happening genuinely. And I'd like it as a backup, to other players as an option. He's got loads of experience, Champions League experience, league winning experience, going far internationally. He's just a really high quality player, a professional, really good professional. All the abilities that you'd want in midfield, and I like it, man. I'd take this. I'd like someone else as well. But if Gundogan goes and we manage to keep Bernardo, Kovacic is a direct replacement. Not bad in my personal opinion. Especially maybe with the idea of McAtee coming in and learning from all them. What about that? If Gundogan goes, get Kovacic, but then bring McAtee in to start learning from Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Kovacic. That would be lovely. That would be lovely in my opinion. That's what we'd need as well. Finally, there's a lovely little story that from Martin Blackburn and Martin Lipton over at The Sun that said City will earn almost £300 million if they win the treble. That's an awful lot of fucking money, isn't it? It shouldn't be a surprise if you do what City could potentially do. Scary as you think about it. Then you can see why they'd win so much prize money. And it also goes back to those conversations when people laugh about City being such a profitable club these days. Look, you talk about City not being as big as Real Madrid, Barcelona and United. It's true, we're not as big as those clubs in terms of historic worldwide appeal and fan base. That takes time to build. But you cannot deny that Manchester City are one of the most visible famous clubs in the world right now. Like, Man City are constantly at the latter stages of the biggest competitions, if not winning them, in world football. They're winning the Premier League all the time with superstars like Haaland now and De Bruyne and Aguero over the years and Guardiola. We've played a Champions League final, then a semi-final against Real Madrid, and now a semi-final against Real Madrid, just beat Bayern Munich. You can see why City's profile is so high, and this is why we earn this money. And you only have to look at this potential revenue here, £300 million. It's why we can afford fucking Haaland and all that lot. And it's because City actually are well run. And people can cry and act like it's all inflated. But I'm sorry, City are absolutely a massive brand around the world these days. And I shouldn't care about that as a fan because it's none of my... I don't care about that being a brand. But I'm just talking about the factual nature of it. They are. And it's the reason why sponsors want to work in Man City, because they are very visible. If you sponsor Man City, your brand is all over TV, it's all over the internet, because City are so fucking visible. Imagine the eyes on the Etihad logo on the front of Manchester City's shirt, or Nexon Tyre. Their visibility is insane. I mean, can't deny that. So this £300 million, of course, prize money. Look, we shouldn't care about that as fans. It's just a really nice side plot to hopefully what could be an historic season. But if you think about the treble, we only need 2 more wins and 2 draws to win the league, I think, unless Arsenal score about 40 goals. So 2 more wins and 2 draws. We need 4 wins, Jesus Christ, to break the internet and break records. 4 wins, 2 league wins, a semi-final win, a final win, and a final win. That's bad maths there. 2 league wins. Oh, sorry, 5. My maths are terrible. 2 Champions League wins, an FA Cup final, and 2 league wins. 5 more wins away from I guess, fucking godlike status. It's quite crazy to say that aloud, but it's not even impossible. It's not even impossible. Anyway, guys, just a quick video there. I thought I'd do it to kill a little bit of time when I sat here. I'll try and get a preview in tomorrow, but I am away for a couple of days, so I'm not sure. I might be able to get a few minutes in here and there. I'm sure the lads won't mind if I just pop on camera and do it. You know what I do, so they're not bothered. It's my best mate, crying out loud. I might try and do a preview tomorrow. If not, I will be back on Saturday for the game. Let me know. Cancelo, where's he going? Kovacic, do you want him? That money's pretty decent, isn't it? Go watch 5 things live from yesterday. Of course, the match reaction, the Champions League. I love you and leave it in a bit. Like, subscribe, up the Blues.